So you got Nilong, Gore, Todd Andrew, and Shoshana O'Keefe for District 5. We'll start off with everyone giving a brief 1-minute opening statement. Nilong, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Todd and then Shoshana. Nilong, you have 1 minute. I will try to let you finish your thought, but interrupt you when your minute is up to give you time. All right, go ahead.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me and allowing us to actually share our campaign message. My name is Nilang Gore, and I'm running for Berkeley City Council District 5 because I feel like we need a genuinely progressive ideology in the Berkeley. And what I mean by that is we need a very upstream, socially innovative, solution-oriented mindset in addressing our community issues. I have been using the social innovative thinking and progressive ideology in serving our communities for last 8 years. I can give you an example of how when judge actually challenged Berkeley's first natural gas ban, I actually advocated for plant-based procurement policy by looking at the fact that meat and dairy consumption and purchasing is associated with more greenhouse gas emission than natural gas. I have launched the campaign that is not using public financing
And
because I do not
that's
want to
time.
burden public tax dollar, and that's the innovative mindset that I want to carry in the Berkeley City Council. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nilong. Todd, we move on to you. 1-minute opening statement, please. And Todd, you're still muted, so I will pause and restart your time.
How's that?
Yes, we can hear you now. I'm restarting your time. The floor is yours.
Well, thanks for having me, Berkeley Democratic Club, and thank you for everything you do for our city. I'm Todd Andrew, and I would be honored to earn your endorsement. I came to Berkeley in 1999 to start a family, raise 2 kids here through BUSD, and I've both owned a home and rented a home, which I've done now in District 5 for 17 years. I'm running because I've been deeply involved in community service, advocacy, and leadership for 6 years, which is when fellow residents told me they didn't feel seen by their government. I was surprised by this, so I dived in, and the more involved I got and the more I learned, the more I came to just accept that we weren't meeting our ideals and aspirations. But I want everybody to know that we can do this. We can turn it around. My priorities are driven by these deep conversations I've had for the last 6 years with District 5 residents and fellow Berkeley leaders. First, we need to proactively communicate with our fellow residents. There are just too many of them that don't feel trust in their government. Second, we have to focus on our core municipal responsibilities. We can all see our streets in the Bay Area, or in Berkeley, which are some of the worst in the Bay Area, but that's just part of over $2 billion in unfunded infrastructure liabilities.
And
We have to
that's time.
prioritize public safety. Oh, that's 1 minute? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Todd. Well, don't worry, you'll get more time to expand on that. Shoshana, you have 1 minute for your opening statement. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello. Thanks so much for having me. I want to say I'm so happy to have Todd and Nilong. We're all in one place for the first time. So hello, guys. My name is Shoshana. I am a Berkeley native. I've lived here my entire life. I love the city dearly. I have a lifelong commitment to public service. It started as I was an immigration lawyer helping people get asylum. Then I took a detour into politics, was a field organizer for the Obama campaign, and since then turned my sights towards local politics because I do love this community so much. I've been on the Zoning Adjustments Board for 11 years. I'm the longest serving member, and I've been the chair and the vice chair for 2 years each. Also, my other life, I'm a teacher now at Berkeley High School. I teach math and computer science at my own alma mater. I think it's the best high school in the country, and I love serving the community in that way as well. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully being on council and getting to serve my community in yet another way. And I'm just delighted to be here, and thank you for having me.
That was right on the clock. I suspect you were timing yourself as well. That would have been awesome. No, so we now have time to expand on that. Todd, we'll start with you this time. Let me just move my timer up. Please take 2 minutes to address your top 3 issues that you would like to address as a council member. We'll go to Todd and then Shoshana and then Nilong. Todd, 2 minutes for your top 3 issues.
So my top 3 issues, there are really 4, but one of them is the communication issue, and we can talk about that later. The first priority would be to focus more on our core responsibilities, Diego. We've got some of the worst streets in the Bay Area, as I mentioned. We've got like a pavement condition index of like 57, and that is on the verge of failing. And that's just part of over $2 billion in unfunded infrastructure liabilities, which includes items like sanitary sewers, storm sewers, fire stations, parks, waterfront. Most of this is not sexy stuff, like our parks and waterfront, which have some value in terms of their beauty, which are also underfunded, but it is absolutely critical, and we can no longer ignore it. We have to find a way to do more with what we have from our general fund, in my opinion, and I have ideas on how we can do that. Second, we need to prioritize public safety in all its meanings. In my view, we have one of the best police departments in the country, and patrols are proven to reduce crime. Nobody wants crime in their neighborhood, yet BPD morale is low, staffing is low, and we have budget busting over time as a result. In addition, our flagship reform project, the specialized care unit, can be significantly improved. I don't want to give up on that yet. Fire department staffing is also low, particularly as we deal with the changing needs of our city. And with regard to street safety, I'm encouraged by the collaboration between BFD, the Disaster and Fire Safety Commission, and city staff to establish a street trauma prevention program to reduce serious injuries and death. Finally, we have to be greater aware and sounder stewards of our public funds. We're one of the top spending cities of our size in the state, and we just need to take into account the fact that approximately 20% of our homeowners are below median income and even more on fixed incomes. And we need to get better bang for our buck. So new buildings, one of my ideas is that new
Thank you,
buildings
Todd. That
produce
is
such significant revenue, we need to
time.
spend more of it on our basic needs.
All right. Thank you so much, Todd. And next, Shoshana, 2 minute answer for your top 3 issues. And just so you all know, I'm keeping time, but I'm not keeping track of the number of issues. So 3 is, that's what we asked for. But if you got more, go for it. Shoshana, 2 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you. My 3 issues are, I chose them based on a combination of obviously what's most important for our city and also things that I have special expertise or something I can offer to be especially effective in improving these areas. So the first one is housing. Housing is the #1 issue in Berkeley. Absolutely. It's its own issue. Housing affordability is absolutely a crisis on its own, and it underpins many other huge issues such as homelessness, diversity, staffing, the working families who found housing here but are struggling just to be able to afford it. It's a huge problem and we need to address it. Oh, climate change, by the way. So we need to build more housing. I'm very pro housing. I'm proud to say I have approved more than 10,000 units of housing in my time on ZAB, and I'm not done. We need to build more housing at every level of affordability, everywhere in the city, missing middle, dense housing, all of it, yes. So that's #1. #2, I'm a daily bicycle commuter. I ride my bike down Virginia and down Millvia to Berkeley High every day. And I think our bicycle infrastructure could be vastly improved. And my ideas are a little different from others. I really want us to focus on the bicycle boulevards, which are the ones I take. I think they could have way less cars on them, have safer crossings, and be more paved. And I think we would have excellent bicycle infrastructure if we just really focused on improving those. I think it's a wonderful system. And lastly, as a teacher, and also as a BUSD parent and an alumna, I have a special, a unique ability to understand how the schools work and how the city works. And so I really hope that if I'm on council, I would get to serve on the 2x2 committee with the school board and council members and really try to get the two bodies to work better together. There's a lot of I don't want to say dysfunction, that's a little too strong, but they don't work very well together. And I have really strong relationships in both. I am in fact endorsed by a supermajority of council and a supermajority of the school board. And I know the ins and outs of
Thank you.
several school site councils, and I want to improve that. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Shoshana. I also have had the same bike commute, as it turns out. Nilong will give you 2 minutes to address your top three issues. The floor is now yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I recognize all the issues that our community is facing right now as really important, but I have picked the three that's not being recognized currently by majority of our community members. And one of them is the animal rights. And I know that the reaction that we get is animal rights does not impact our day-to-day life, right? And that's just because we fail to recognize how animal health is intertwined with public health as well as the environmental health. And what I mean by that is right now we are actually serving processed and red meat into the North Berkeley and South Berkeley senior centers. And that is increasing public health disparities in our low-income seniors. It also increases our consumption-based greenhouse gas emissions. And not to mention, it continues to actually contribute to animal cruelty. Berkeley has taken really progressive stance like banning for clothes and things like that. I think it's time for us to actually step up and address the plant-based shift in our city's purchasing. And city has already adopted the resolution after my years of advocacy. So thanks to all the council members, but that policy hasn't been implemented yet. So as a if I get elected, my first responsibility will be to actually implement all those initiatives that's adopted by the council but hasn't been implemented. And one of them is definitely the plant-based purchasing by the city. Another is I want to get the money out of the politics, and to actually implement that, I'm not taking any donations, neither private donations, not I'm leveraging public financing, because I want to actually show the community that we can run our campaign by literally using the grassroots labor, the grassroots volunteers. And I'm making my yard sign from the waste materials and things like that. And lastly, I want to say that in District 5, I have heard many residents talk about why they are not encouraged to actually engage in a city council or local politics because they don't feel like they are being heard. And I definitely
Thank you.
recognize their voice. I have been a long-time advocate, and Council Member Sophie Hahn has literally tried to shut me down. So what
Thank
I
you,
want to
Nilong. That
do
is time.
is I want to engage other community members and increase the civic engagement in Berkeley. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully just letting my phone's alarm timer ring off is a less disruptive way to let you all know. So the next question, this one will start with Shoshana. Do you support implementing the unanimously approved Berkeley Bike Plan and Pedestrian Plan to ensure that residents can move about the city without fear of getting hit by a car? If so, how will you see to it that appropriate funding and staffing are available to achieve this goal? If not, why not? Well, Shoshana, we'll start with you, and you had sort of already touched on this, so why don't you take 2 minutes to expand on that?
Thanks so much. Yeah, as I mentioned, bike infrastructure is one of my most important issues. To expand on what I was talking about before with the bike boulevards, we should keep them at the top of the paving list. By the way, I'm really glad that both EE and FF are on the ballot. I think we really need this money for transportation, for bike and pedestrian infrastructure and safety. I am personally supporting EE because it focuses more on the bike boulevards, but I hope one passes for sure, because we absolutely need that money and it's a great idea. What I think we should do with the bike boulevards is keep them at the top of the paving list at all times and actually expand it a little bit. I'd like to see Rose Street, which was originally in the original bike boulevard plan from 2018, I believe. And I want to see if we need to add any other ones. We want to have a comprehensive network of parallel roads that can be prioritized for bicycles. In fact, there should be no cars on them that are not local traffic. I would like to see a traffic barrier put every 2 or 3 blocks. I mean, I'm not a traffic engineer, I'll let them design it. But if we made it so that there were no cars on the bicycle boulevards except for cars that were coming and going from a home within 2 blocks, they would be so safe. We would have an excellent option for anyone, a child, a commuter, a pro cyclist, anyone at all, to get where they needed to go safely. Pedestrians as well. With so few cars, it would be a lovely place for a pedestrian to take a stroll. These streets could not only be safe, they could be beautiful. And I really, really want to see that implemented.
All right, thank you. That was under time, was not prepared for that. Nilong, we'll give you 2 minutes. And just to repeat the question is, do you support implementing the unanimously approved Berkeley bike plan and pedestrian plan to ensure that residents can move about the city without fear of getting hit by a car? If so, how? And if not, why not? 2 minutes. Nilong, you're muted. I'm going to restart your time.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
I truly support having a specific bike lanes because I encourage people to use the bicycle, especially if they can, if they have commute that's short enough within the city of Berkeley and they could use. I think that's the best thing. It help us reduce the transportation emission as well as it actually provides the bicycle safety as well. So I think it serves definitely various different purposes. One of the major purpose that I want to serve by supporting it and definitely make sure if it gets implemented and how it gets implemented is the safety of the bike riders. I many times see that bike riders use literally the sidewalks, and then ride bicycle right next to the people walking on a sidewalk, or they actually like ride right next to a car, right? That's definitely not safe. I by myself got hit by a car and had to actually go through a expensive surgery. So I totally actually support bicycle lanes as well. And then spatially, it has, again, two main purpose. It provides the public safety, but also it's environment friendly as well.
All right, thank you. Now you're all in a competition to see who can be the most under time. Um, Todd, I've I'm sure I've heard you talk about this for cumulative hours at this point, but for the sake of brevity, 2-minute recap your positions on the Berkeley bike plan and pedestrian plan.
So the short answer is yes. I do most everything by bike. I haven't had my own vehicle in about 3.5 years. I've been car free. I live right on Hopkins, and it was disappointing to see the result of Hopkins. First thing I do want to say, though, is that it's nearly impossible, unless you advocate like I do, that we spend more money on basic infrastructure from our general fund than we already do. It's nearly impossible to support Measure EE and to support both the bike and pedestrian plans. That's why I'm supporting Measure FF. First of all, it gives more than twice as much to actual street paving. It gives almost as much to fix the sidewalks, and it doesn't just limit safety improvements and traffic calming to our bike boulevards, which is not where most of the injuries are occurring. So we're trying to encourage people to get out there, and 70% of Berkeley people have said, I would do it if it felt more safe. Second, if we pave streets without safety improvements, it actually makes them more dangerous, which is contrary to what a fair number of people are saying out there today. So I would not support repaving Hopkins until we can be sure that we have safety improvements on Hopkins, because rows actually became more dangerous. Average vehicle speeds went up by like 7 miles per hour, 8 miles per hour, something like that. And there are an unconscionable number of people doing 45 miles per hour past MLK, past Ruth Acton Elementary. It's just unacceptable. So we can't repave streets without safety improvements. And I think that's about where I'm going to leave off. So I don't know if I beat everybody on the time or not.
I will not be revealing the winner. That secret will come with me to the grave. But thank you all. Fortunately, we do have to get moving on to the next district, so I will leave you all with a minute of closing time for a closing statement. I think if we're going in order, then we'd leave it with Nilang. Could you start us off with a 1-minute closing statement?
Absolutely. Yeah, I just want to say that I'm endorsed by former council member Kate Harrison, Buna Chima, Marsha Poole, and many other grassroots activists. And that's the kind of a value that I live my life every day while serving the Berkeley community. I go above and beyond, whether it's about fundraising for U9 climate conference at the Berkeley Unified School District, or it's advocating for a climate-friendly policy at the city council, or helping the unhoused community in the Berkeley. I actually go above and beyond, even in running my campaign, and I'm literally preserving cities' public tax dollar by not taking public funding for my campaign, because I think that public tax dollar needs to be utilized to provide underfunded services and programs that's really needed to actually have safe and healthier Berkeley community. And I will continue to lead with these values if get elected. So I hope that you'll consider endorsing my campaign. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Shoshana. 1 minute closing statement.
Thanks again for having me. In closing, I want to say that not only do I have some really great ideas for Berkeley that are that they're things that I can really really bring my own expertise to, but I also have the relationships to get it done. I'm very proud to say, I mentioned this already, but I'll mention it again. I'm endorsed by a supermajority of the present council, 7 out of 9 members. I'm endorsed by 4 out of 5 school board members. I'm endorsed by the Berkeley firefighters, the Democratic Party, a number of labor organizations, including the Alameda Labor Council and the Building Trades, and a number of other Democratic clubs, and the list. Oh, and Tony Thurmond, one of my favorite politicians ever. So I just want to say that, you know, it's one thing to have good ideas. I think we all have great ideas. But one thing that I really can uniquely bring to the table is the relationships and the expertise and the respect that I've garnered after living in the city for my entire life and living in District 5 for 17 years. To really network and understand people and have the respect and the ear of people to work together collaboratively to get things done. So thank you. I hope to earn your endorsement, and thanks so much for having me.
All right, thank you all. We now move to the further north provinces.
I
Deep
don't think I
in the
had
hills.
a chance to make a closing statement.
Oh shoot, I'm so sorry, Todd.
That's okay.
Todd, I was getting so antsy for D6. Yes, go ahead, Todd. 1 minute closing statement.
D6 is probably getting antsy too. Hey, folks, so we can do this, all right? So I don't want to be too negative, but ask yourself this. If decades of experience in office or the endorsement of establishment politicians who've had decades in office is so important, then how did we get where we are with all of the problems that we have in this city right now? And remember, we can do it, but we have to say, we've got one of the highest rates of property crime in the country. We've missed health inspections on our health department of food establishments, $6 million in misplaced funds in our fleet budget, failure of our methane containment system down at Cesar Chavez Park, and 2 members of council who said the system is broken. Lori Capitelli, the prior District 5 council member, has endorsed me precisely because he recognizes the need for change and has some humility about mistakes that were made. I'm also endorsed by everyone on the Solano Avenue bid board where I serve. I'm endorsed by Jeff Vincent, chair of the Planning Commission, and former firefighter Mike Wilson, who's a member of the Disaster and Fire Safety Commission and working with the Berkeley Fire Department on a street trauma prevention program. So I'm a dedicated public servant, not a politician. I've been deeply involved in community service, advocacy, and leadership for 6 years. I want to serve the people of District 5 in Berkeley with what I've learned, and will do so with all my heart. We can turn this around and still be true to Berkeley values. We can build a brighter day for Berkeley, focusing on our core municipal responsibilities. Thanks so much.